Hello guys, once again welcome back to another Android application development tutorial. In this video here I am going to show you how to display a list of items in your Android Studio project. So here I will show you some example. This is an example of list of item. Here is another example. So in this case the items are images. So now here I am going to show you how to display this type of list in your Android Studio project. So here the items are images. This is an example of grid layout manager. This is an example of linear layout manager. So in linear layout manager there is only one column and number of rows. But in the case of a grid layout manager there is n number of rows and n number of columns. Okay. So in Android framework there is a widget available called the ListView to display this type of list. But in this video we are going to working with RecyclerView. A RecyclerView is nothing but an advanced version of ListView. A RecyclerView, a ListView with some added features and improved performance. So in this video we are going to working with a RecyclerView to display a list of items similar to this one. So I will show you how to display the list with an example. So we can start with a new Android Studio project. So specify application name. Select empty activity and click finish. So here the project is created successfully. So first thing we need to add the dependency for using RecyclerView in our Android Studio project. The RecyclerView is not the direct part of Android framework. You have to add the RecyclerView as a support library. So you can add a support library through the Gradle in your Android Studio project. So now here I am going to show you how to add a RecyclerView to your Android Studio project. So for that, just open the Gradle script files, open the module level Gradle file. At the bottom of that file, here we have a section called dependencies. Here now there is a number of dependencies are available. So now here I am going to add the dependency for using a RecyclerView. So now here I am going to copy this implementation statement for the V7 support library. I paste it here. So instead of app combat, just type RecyclerView. So here we make some changes in this file. So sync project. So here the project sync finished successfully. So now we successfully add the RecyclerView to this Android Studio project. So first we need a list of items. So here I already create some list of items. So here the list is the Android version names. So now here I am going to add the list as a string array in our strings.xml. So open values folder, open strings.xml. So here I am going to create a new string array with the array name Android versions. Now we can add the items. So here I already create the items. So now we have a string array available inside strings.xml file with array name Android versions. So now we can add the RecyclerView to the layout. So this is the activity main.xml. So now currently there is only one activity available in this project. So there is only one layout file. So now there is one text view is available. Here the root element is a constrained layout. So for my convenience here I am going to change the root element into a relative layout. So the first step, we need to add a RecyclerView to the layout file. So here I'm going to place a recycler view, specify the width as match parent, height as match parent, and here in the preview window you can see here a list of items is displayed. So now we can specify other parameters like ID, create an ID for the recycler view. I name it as a recycler view. So this is here we are going to display a list of items. So we need a scroll bar. So you can use the property called scroll bars. So here the list of item is vertical list, so we need a vertical scroll bar. Okay, so that's enough. So this is the recycler view in our layout file with ID recycler view. So now go back to main activity.java. So first thing, we have to create a handler for the recycler view. So first here I'm going to create a handler. So recycler view, find it. Here the ID is recycler view. Okay, so now the handler for the recycler view is ready. So for a recycler view, we need three things. First one is the layout manager, second one is a view holder, and third one is the adapter. So in the previous example, so here I will explain this example. So in this example there is only one column is available, but in this example we have two columns is available. So here we use a grid layout manager. So the grid layout manager align items into rows and columns. So you can use number of rows and number of columns, but here we have only one column available. I think this is a linear layout manager. So that is the purpose of a layout manager. So the layout manager align item on the list into rows and columns. That is the purpose of the layout manager. So for a recycler view, we need a layout manager. And the second thing is a view holder. For example, here each item on the recycler view, in this example each item contain an image view and a text view. The image view display the image and the text view display a name for the image. So each item is represented using a class called view holder. So that is the second thing for the recycler view. And the third thing is an adapter. The responsibility of the adapter is to place the view holder into the proper position. So here each item has a particular position in the recycler view or in the list. In this example, suppose here we have only 6 images are displayed here. So this is the third image, this is the fourth image, and this is the third image. So that is the purpose of the adapter. The adapter is responsible for placing each of the view holder to its particular position. Okay, so now we can create each of these items. So the first thing we need is a layout manager. So here I'm going to create some variables for layout manager. I name it as layout manager. So here we need to display a list similar to this one. So we need a simple linear layout manager. We need only one column. So we can initialize the layout manager. It is a linear layout manager, and for the constructor of that class you need to pass one parameter, at least one parameter, that is a context. So here I pass the activity context. Okay, so now the layout manager is ready. Now we need to tell the recycler view we need the layout manager. For that you can call the method set layout manager, and you have to pass the layout manager object. So in this statement we set the layout manager for the recycler view. Okay, so now we need to display the items. That means we have to create the adapter and the view holder class. So the view holder class is responsible for each item on the recycler view. So next thing here, I am going to create the adapter for the recycler view. So before going to create the adapter, I need to create a separate layout file. For this example, here each item need an image view and a text view. Actually here each item is a separate layout file. But in our case, we have to display only a text, simple text. That means we need a simple text view for each item on the list. For that, here I am going to create a separate layout. So right click the layout folder and create a layout resource file. So here we need a simple text view. I name it as text view layout. And I change the root element into a text view. So this text view display each item in our list. So here with this much parent, height is, I change height into wrap content. Now I'm going to, for testing, just apply some text on it. Now apply some style for the text. Text style into bold. Text size into 18 sp. So now set the margin. I need a 12 dp margin. Now set the padding. Padding also 12 dp. So this is the text view that is responsible for each item in our list. So this text view display each item in our recycler view. So now we can create the adapter. So right click the package and create a new Java class. Here I name it as a recycler adapter. So this class represents an adapter for the recycler view. So you have to extend adapter for recycler view. So here we got some error because you need to implement some methods. You need to implement 3 methods: on create view holder, on bind view holder, and get item count. Okay, I will explain this method later. So for our recycler view, we need 3 things. The first one is the layout manager that we already created. Second one is an adapter. So here we create the adapter, and third one is a view holder. View holder is responsible for each item on the recycler view. So for view holder, here I am going to create a separate class. I name it as my view holder. So this class represents a view holder of a recycler view. So you must extend view holder. So here you got some error because you have to create a constructor that contains the super keyword. So this class is responsible for each item on the list. So in our case, each item is a text view. So we can create some variables for text view. I name it as version name. So here each view component is a text view. So for the constructor, we can modify the parameter into a simple text view, and we can initialize this text view from the constructor. So version name equal to item view. Okay, so now for my convenience, here I am going to create another variable. It is a list that contains some string value. I name it as list. and here I'm going to create a constructor recycler adapter, and for the constructor I need one parameter. It is a list. So from the constructor I initialize that list. Okay, so this list contains some string value. In our case it is the Android version names. Now I will explain what is the purpose of these two methods. So here each item is an object of the viewHolder class. So in our example here we create the viewHolder. Our viewHolder contain only one variable, that is a text view, and we initialize that text view from the constructor of that class. So when Android framework populate a list similar to this one, first thing Android framework has to create an object similar to this one. So that is the purpose of this method called onCreateViewHolder. So the layout manager will call this method to create each of these objects. So here each object contains two child view, an image view and a text view. So that is the purpose of this method called onCreateViewHolder. So from the onCreateViewHolder we can create each object of the viewHolder. So when times come, the layout manager will call this method. After that, for display this image and text view, the layout manager call this method called onBindViewHolder. So from the onBindViewHolder we can assign data to the view components. In our case we have only one view component called a text view. So now we can create an object of viewHolder from this method, and we have to return an object of viewHolder. So this method, the return type of this method must be an object of viewHolder. So here we create a subclass of viewHolder called myViewHolder. So from this method we can simply return an object of myViewHolder. And for this method we have two parameters. First one is an object of viewHolder, and second one is position, current position. So here also we have a subclass of viewHolder called myViewHolder. So this class is not an abstract, so here we have to specify the generic type. Okay, so from this method we have to return an object of viewHolder. So here the view is a text view. So now we can inflate the layout. So layout inflator, call this method from, and we can use the first parameter parent and call the inflate method. So for this method the first parameter is the layout resource. So here it is r.layout text view layout, and second parameter is the view group. Here the view group is parent, and the last parameter is a boolean attached to root. Here you can simply pass false. Here we need to get the context, parent.get context. So here the target is a text view, so you need to typecast that one into text view. So now we can create an object of the viewHolder. So here we have a subclass of viewHolder. So myViewHolder, new myViewHolder, and for the constructor of that class you have to pass the view item. So here it is a text view. Okay, so now we can return the object of viewHolder from this method. So return myViewHolder. So now we can bind the information to the text view. So the layout manager will call this method onBindViewHolder to assign data to the view item. So here the view item is a text view. So now we can assign the data. So holder, here the text view is version name, and call the method setText. get the item from the list dot get, and pass the position. So here we have another method called the get item count. So the Android framework use this method to find out how many items available on the list. So here from this method you can simply pass the size of the list. Okay, so now the adapter is ready. Now we can add this adapter to the recycler view. So go back to main activity, and first here we can create a list of items. So create some variables for list. First we can initialize that list equal to call this method arrays.askList get resources get string array our array name is Android versions. Okay, so now we can create the adapter. Here the adapter is recycler adapter. I name it as adapter. Now we can initialize the adapter. New recycler adapter, and pass the list. Okay, now the adapter is ready. Now we can assign the adapter to the recycler view. So before going to that, here I am going to set some property for the recycler view. So set has fixed size into true. I call this method because here we know that the size of the recycler view is not going to change according to its content. That's why here I create set has fixed size into true. This will improve the performance of your list. Okay, so now we can set the adapter on the recycler view. So recyclerView dot set adapter, call the method set adapter, and pass the adapter. That's it. Okay, now we can test it. So here one virtual device is ready. Now click the run button. Okay, and here it is. So here we have a list of items in our recycler view, and here we have a vertical scroll bar. So this is how we create a list of items in our Android Studio project. So here this is an example of linear layout manager. I will show you how to use a grid layout manager in another tutorial. For getting more Android tutorial updates, please subscribe this channel.